In a world where international relations often make headlines for their complexity and challenges, it's amazing to see positive and enduring friendships between nations. One such relationship that has stood the test of time and continues to flourish is between Japan and the Philippines. These two Asian nations have built a multilateral partnership encompassing economic cooperation, security collaboration, cultural exchanges, and mutual support during times of crisis. Japan has played a significant role in the economic development of the Philippines. Japanese companies have been substantial contributors to the Philippine economy through foreign direct investment. They have invested in diverse industries, ranging from electronics and manufacturing to infrastructure projects. These investments have not only created jobs, but have also contributed to the overall economic growth of the Philippines. Official development assistance from Japan has been another crucial pillar of economic cooperation. Japanese funds have been channeled into essential projects, including transportation infrastructure, disaster management initiatives, and education programs. This financial support has not only improved the quality of life for Filipinos, but has also strengthened the economic ties binding these two nations. Japan's relations with the Philippines kingdoms trace back to at least the pre-colonial period in Filipino history, or the Muromachi period in Japanese history. The Hayato and Kumaso, Austronesian speakers apparently from the Philippines and Taiwan, were immigrated to Japan and even served in the imperial court. In 1593, the Japanese had created an enclave in Dilao, Manila, where they numbered between 300 and 400 people. The number increased into 1,500 people in 1603 and 3,000 people in 1606. Thousands of Japanese traders went to the Philippines in the 16th and 17th century and blended into the local community. During World War II, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japanese forces invaded Philippines. They quickly overcame resistance by the United States and Philippine Commonwealth military. Strategically, Japan needed the Philippines to prevent its use by Allied forces as a forward base of operations, especially against the Japanese home islands and against its plans for the further conquest of Southeast Asia. After the war, the Japanese government started to invite Filipinos to take up their studies in their country through the formation of scholarships that was managed by the Ministry of Education of Japan. Theoretically speaking, the students who would be availing of this invitation should be amongst the ones who would help the Philippines to recover. Diplomatic relations were normalized and re-established in 1956, when the War Reparations Agreement was finally concluded. By the end of the 1950s, Japanese companies and individual investors had begun to return to the Philippines. Japan and the Philippines signed a Treaty of Amity, Commerce and Navigation in 1960. Japan remained a major source of development funds, trade, investment, and tourism in the 1980s. When Philippine President Corazon Aquino's administration was installed as a result of the People Power Revolution, Japan was one of the first countries to express support for the new Philippine government. Strategic relations between the two countries have been strong recently. Japan supports the resolution of the Islamic insurgency in the Philippines. In 2013, Japan announced it would donate 10 ships valued at $11 million to the Philippine Coast Guard. Japan and the Philippines also share a mutual concern on China's increasing assertiveness in its territorial claims. In November 2015, the Philippine government under President Noynoy Aquino and the Japan International Cooperation Agency signed a $2 billion loan agreement to fund part of the construction of a railway system between the Tutuban railway station in Manila to Malolos, Bulacan in the Philippines, which is targeted to become the country's largest railway system. In 2023, the defense arrangement signed by Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. That arrangement will allow Japanese troops to join training exercises to respond to natural disasters and humanitarian needs in the Philippines. The Philippine and Japanese leaders want to increase the defense capabilities of their own countries and strengthen overall security cooperation with reciprocal port, calls and aircraft visits, and the transfer of more defense equipment and technology. Japan in 2022 adopted a new national security strategy, in which it set a goal of doubling its defense spending to 43 trillion yen, or $310 billion over the next 5 years, to fund a military buildup, including developing a strike capability in a major break from its self-defense-only policy long observed under its post-World War II pacifist constitution. Under the new strategy, Japan began security assistance for the militaries of developing nations, primarily in the Indo-Pacific region, and is likely to provide Japanese-made non-lethal equipment such as radar, antennas, small patrol boats, and improvements to infrastructure such as ports. The Philippines is a major candidate. China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Brunei are locked in tense territorial standoffs over the South China Sea, and Japan also has economic and political motives in the region. We will see in the future if this diplomatic ties between Philippines and Japan will grow stronger, or will disappear because of unknown circumstances.